Hello indie game fan, the best indie game releases of September begins with Moonscars, a 2D Souls-like title that is very brown, but has some gorgeous high frame rate animations and use of lighting. It has to be inspired by games like Salt and Sanctuary as well as Blasphemous, with combat being okay, but takes a little bit of getting used to. I'm in absolute amazement of the continued success of Temtem, a monster-taming MMORPG that is the game that people have always wanted but Nintendo refused to make, releasing out of early access and has sold at least 1 million copies across all platforms, which is especially impressive considering that they are going up against the 800-pound gorilla known as Game Freak. There are some key differences between this and Pokemon, such as the emphasis on 2v2 combat and a stamina-based system, with all the MMO stuff like raids and player housing as well. It does feel like a grind though, so you won't get anywhere quick in this, but I suppose it's part of the MMO thing in general, so I'm curious about the longevity of this game. A very interesting entry from a Taiwanese developer is Little Witch Nobeta, a cute looking anime title that is more than meets the eye. While you do play as a witch with ranged attacks, this is actually more of a Souls-like title with stamina and dodging being key, definitely be of interest to fans of the genre. The long in development, Freedom Planet 2 finally made it to release, and what can I say, it is as expected with the action as a sequel should be, with the quality befitting this developer. Our heroines are on a quest to stop an ancient water dragon who has broken out of imprisonment, with an intriguing central narrative where you experience the story from multiple sides. There are 4 playable characters which have their own special abilities, as well as some light progression and upgrade options through the use of amulets, charms and potions, stopping just short of having full-blown RPG mechanics. It controls great and is everything a sequel should be, but I really like the look of this, mixing pixel art sprites with pseudo 3D objects and would not be out of place on the Genesis, which I think is exactly what they are going for, so if you loved the first game, be sure to get this. I was pleasantly surprised to see the success of Potion Permit as well, a charming life sim title where you're the newly appointed chemist to the sleepy town of Moonbury, having to tend to its townfolk in this wonderful title. Patients will present a variety of ailments which you need to diagnose, where you then need to gather the necessary ingredients to brew potions and cures for them, having a very pleasant pixel art style as well. On top of your doctor duties, there are a variety of side activities to do like fishing, where you can get to know and even fall in love with some of the residents. Think of it as Stardew Valley but without the farming element, and you get the idea, but it's a must-get for cozy game fans.
Hello, Doctor. I had hoped for us to meet at my estate. No matter. I can guarantee your safe arrival. A promise few others here can make. The townsfolk are not fond of outsiders. Don't delay.
Another impressive early access entry is Gloomwood, a first-person immersive sim with stealth action systems. We are attempting to escape this cursed city, scavenging for parts and crafting tools to help along the way. They nailed that 90s era look once again, which is a signature look for publisher New Blood Interactive by now, where its closest comparison would have to be Thief, and I cannot wait to see where this goes in early access. The Blue Burrower strikes the earth once again with Shovel Knight Dig, a roguelike platformer version of the beloved 8-bit platformer, with new bosses and mechanics to contend with. Our hero is on a mission to prevent the collapse of the land due to the underground tunneling of the Hexcavators, which, like the Order of No Quarter, comprises of the bosses in this game. It is a good game if you come in with tempered expectations, because the roguelike design and that it was also designed for mobile meant some compromises, so don't expect the same type of game as the original, but rather a spin-off with a different feel. However, what is here is neat, kind of like Downwell in some ways, building upon the legacy of this iconic character. Perhaps the best indie first-person shooter right now is Proteus, one that is pretty much old-school Doom but modernized, but not like Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal if you know what I mean. The weapons and gunplay are awesome, with some great enemy and level designs, and that's just the base single-player campaign. Somehow, this developer added multiplayer support with Deathmatch, Capture the Flag and more, even having community-created levels and Steam Workshop support. But player population isn't massive, so get this if you're primarily interested in the single player campaign, but what a bloody delight this game is. A title that blew up right out of the gate is Slime Rancher 2, the sequel to a wonderful game from 2017 which I really loved, being a more modern, polished up version of that game, which looks very nice but is more of the same in many ways. You're capturing and caring for your slimes in order to harvest their poop to sell for upgrades, nailing that gameplay loop. I believe the primary reason for this sequel is so that they were no longer constrained by the technical limitations of the first game, so I hope to see continued support for this through early access. It is not often that we get something fresh in the roguelite space, which is why Dome Keeper got my attention, even though it itself is not exactly a fresh idea, mixing the digging and mining of Steamroll Dig with the defense elements from classics like Missile Command. However, in a world where every other roguelite is a top-down Isaac-like, a Slay the Spire-like deck builder, a Rogue Legacy-like platformer, or Vampire Survivors-like bullet heaven game, games like this really stand out, having a great gameplay loop as well, and it's up there with the best in the genre.